Hey, baddies. This is Kimber, and we are back with the Just Be Your Bad Self podcast, believe it or not. I am doing this today. I'm just going for it. And here's why. I've been missing the podcast. I feel like I say this every episode. I, once again, have let perfectionism get me stuck and get me down, and I have decided to treat this podcast kind of like a meditation where I set the intention to keep coming back. And I'm not going to do it perfectly, but when I catch myself getting stuck in these phases of perfectionism and stuckness, I want to use the podcast kind of like my breath, something to return to, a way to return to myself, a way to return to embracing myself, even though I'm not perfect, to my eternal chagrin, and just as something to do to practice consistency. So I'm setting a new goal for myself. I'm going to intend to record this podcast every single day, and I'm taking out a lot of the things that have kept me from it. So for now, I'm not going to have an intro. I'm probably not going to have an outro. I'm not going to figure out how to monetize it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time editing it or writing it or making sure I have just the right thing to say. I think I keep thinking the longer I am alive that I should have my life figured out and I should have something to teach people and some wisdom to bestow on people. And I feel silly sometimes just recording myself talking, knowing that I don't have it figured out. But then I keep reminding myself, no one does. None of us have it figured out. and I'm going to take the pressure off myself, and I'm doing this for me. I'm going to show up every day. I'm going to record whatever I'm thinking about, whatever's on my mind. I'm going to come whether I am sick or tired or unmotivated or I feel stupid or my hair looks bad, or have something in my teeth, or whatever, or if I've missed a day, right? I want to keep coming back to this. And so I'm playing with that this month to see if I can just record something for about 10 minutes or so every day. So today what I want to talk about is masculine energy. We're just going to jump right in. So I have been on a very long, raging feminist journey where I have my pendulum has really been far swung into the feminine energy realm. And for those of you who don't like the terms masculine and feminine, that's fine. They work for me. They work for me. They make sense to me. So plug in whatever, yin, yang, whatever energy, whatever terminology works for you. I'm going to just use masculine and feminine because that's what works for me. I have, as I was saying, swung very far into the feminine energy side of things, which is very much about ideating. I like that verb. Connecting, relationships, dreaming, very void. The feminine energy is like the yin side of things, the dark void, the womb, where ideas come and percolate. And I have been very far into that side to the point where I think I've completely cut off some of my masculine energy. I think I've held a lot of anger at men in general for what I think are obvious reasons, just history and oppression and capitalism and systems that feel very boxy to me. Surprise, surprise with this podcast that I wouldn't like being boxed in. And what's ended up happening from me swinging so far away and kind of cutting off all things masculine is that it has cut off my ability to do and to act and to bring things out of the realm of visioning and into the realm of reality and the physical. And I have been hardcore struggling with burnout for years now, honestly. It's why I've been so inconsistent with this podcast, because I live in the realm of ideas, and I'm always thinking about, ooh, this would make a good podcast episode, or maybe I should change my podcast title, or always just coming up with new ideas and never finding the energy or the motivation to bring them out into physical. And I immediately get burnt out as soon as I sit down to actually do something. So that's another reason that I'm coming back to this podcast right now, is an exercise in swinging that pendulum back into the masculine a little bit. And yesterday, okay, a couple things. One, I was gifted a beautiful ritual from a friend of mine. Her name's Kimber Phillips. She is freaking awesome. She gave me this ritual. It's a fire ritual for forgiveness, because I told her that I was having a really hard time forgiving the masculine, and that I realized it was becoming problematic because of my burnout and inability to do anything. And so she gave me this fire ritual, which is you take 3 toothpicks, or I've been gathering little twigs on my daily walks, and then I have like a little cool little burny cauldron thing. And I use a candle to light each of the sticks. And as I light the first stick, the first stick represents what you release or what you forgive. And so the first stick, I've been releasing my anger at wounded masculine energy. I've been forgiving that. And as you watch the stick or the toothpick burn, you just meditate on that flame and let it teach you. And then the second stick is what I invite in. And this week, I have been using the second stick to invite in divine masculine energy, which is, so when I release my anger at the masculine, I'm releasing anger at oppression, at one right way, at you have to do it this way, at capitalism, and at all of these systems and things that I feel like I've tied into the masculine. I'm releasing my anger at that. And then as I invite in the divine masculine, for me, that is structure, boundaries, discipline, play, adventure, consistency, energy to do, things that I've really been cut off with for several years now, and I really want to bring back into my life. So that's the second stick. And then the third stick, I burn with the intention of a prayer for somebody else. And so because I've been working around the masculine, I tend to think of a man in my life or in general that I say a prayer for. And because I'm working on forgiving the masculine, I've been choosing men that I struggle with and maybe have a lot of big feelings about. So sometimes I've said a prayer for Donald Trump, that he may know his own basic goodness, or Elon Musk, or sometimes it's my husband or my dad or my stepson, that I try and really connect with kind of a loving kindness meditation and send a prayer their way. And that is the third stick. And then again, you watch the flame and let it teach you. And I've been doing this for almost a week now. And honestly, you guys, I've been feeling my energy come back. Yesterday, I'm trying to remember, yesterday after I did this ritual, it's like all of a sudden I had this insight that it was okay to just do a thing for the sake of getting it done. That it didn't need to be perfect, that I didn't need to have the perfect system, that it didn't have to please everybody, that I didn't have to want to do it, that I didn't have to feel motivated to do it, that I could just do a thing because I wanted to have it be done and get it done. And for some reason, maybe that sounds obvious to a lot of you, but for some reason that was so freeing to me to tell myself, like, I want a clean kitchen. Okay, I'm going to clean the kitchen. And it wasn't about, I'm going to wait till I feel like it, or I'm going to put the perfect playlist on so this is a joyful activity, or I'm going to get my family involved so that I don't feel resentful that I'm cleaning up their messes. All these things that I've allowed to keep me stuck on tasks like this, I decided I'm going to let all of those reasons for being stuck go, and I'm just going to get this thing done, just to get it done. Kind of a get her done moment. And it wasn't that hard. And I struggle with ADHD, and this has been one day, so we'll see how this energy coming in plays out over the next month. But it lasted me till today. I woke up, and once again, normally I would find a lot of reasons to get stuck in the planning, in the feminine side of things. I have to find, so for example, meal planning, grocery shopping, those things tend to be my arch nemesis because of all of the decisions that have to be made and my desire to do everything right. And so today, instead of doing what I would normally do, and I wish I were joking about this, but I'm really not exaggerating. It feels like every time I do a task, instead of doing the task, I sit down and decide I have to come up with the perfect system to do that task so that it will never feel hard again and it will last me for my whole life. So, and this happens frequently for me. So if I'm doing meal planning, for example, I feel like I have to come up with a meal planning system that is going to constantly motivate me, that's going to somehow give me dopamine hits, that's going to be healthy for my kids, that everybody's going to like, that's not going to be too expensive, that's not going to get boring. I have all of these ideals and stipulations that I feel pressured into doing it right. And then I get burnt out and we end up eating Taco Bell or just going out somewhere and spending more money and eating more unhealthy because of my perfectionism. So today, instead of falling into that trap, I just told myself, I'm just going to get it done to get it done. I don't have to do it correctly. I don't have to turn into a vegetarian today. I don't have to please everybody. I don't have to find the cheapest option. I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to come up with a system. And I sat down and I didn't let myself get distracted and I just did it, which for someone with ADHD can honestly feel like a miracle. And then I went to the grocery store and I didn't sit there deliberating which brand to get and which one was cheaper and which one was healthier, which maybe some people have the energy to do that. I would really like to have the energy to do that, but after being alive for 35 years, I'm learning to embrace the fact that I just don't right now and to let that be okay. And I got it done and I got the groceries home and they're put away and the fridge is a disaster and the pantry is a disaster, but the groceries are there. They're put away. I have food for my family this week. And that feels like such a freaking giant success. And guys, it's still morning. Like it's barely after 11 for me. And I've already meal planned for a few days and got the grocery shopping done and the food put away. And that is such a freaking miracle to me. And I know it's not going to be like that every day, but I want to remember for myself, it is okay. Again, it's okay to be my bad self. I don't have to be perfect. I don't even have to be good. I just have to do my best. And as embarrassing as my best sometimes is, it is my best. And it feels really good to have that done. Okay, just a couple more things I want to talk about on this first day of podcasting, which are they're really along the same lines. So speaking of my perfectionism and getting stuck, I wish I were joking about this, but I think I've wanted to come back to the podcast. I've wanted to offer something to people. I think I have a desire to be seen and heard, but I feel like before I can be seen and heard, I have to be perfect. Yeah, I think that. I think some part of me really feels that way. I want to be seen and heard, but I have to be perfect before that's okay. And so no joke, I have been deep diving into spirituality, believe it or not, and like hardcore chasing enlightenment. and putting this pressure on myself, like, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to become enlightened, then I'll be wise enough to be seen and heard, and I'll have something worthwhile to say because I will be enlightened. And gosh, I wish I was joking about that. And today, I guess yesterday, I was on a walk and just going through my regular struggle of really being frustrated that I'm human and that I'm not perfect and that I don't know everything and that I can't just save the world, which I would really like to be able to do. And I had this thought of, what if it didn't matter? What if I didn't matter? What if whatever I do really doesn't matter? And it was the most freeing thought I've had in a very, very long time. Because I think most of my life, I have told myself that I need to matter and that what I do does matter. And I want to matter and I want to make a difference in the world for the better. And that's a lot of pressure. And yesterday when I thought, what if I don't matter? What if whatever I do, we're all going to die anyways. The earth's eventually going to die. Everything in existence changes and dies. And what if it really doesn't matter what I do? And I love that approach way more than I have to do something that matters for people. So, man, I have a lot of thoughts on that. I guess that ties into what I've actually been studying when it comes to waking up or enlightenment, is this idea of everybody has a basic goodness. That we're all at our core basically good, and that it doesn't matter what our actions are. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time explaining this because I'm not enlightened, but I'm going to do the best I can as human Kimber with my own human brain, because I think this principle is really important and really freeing and really at the core of just be your bad self, right? Because just be your bad self isn't about being bad. It's about recognizing that you're already good. And that is the core principle of a lot of what I'm studying right now. I'm studying a lot of Pema Chodron's work, Eckhart Tolle, or however you say his name. I'm reading a book that ties me back into my Christian roots, that's supposedly someone has channeled the words of Yeshua. I know that sounds super woo and maybe crazy and triggering to some of you, but the message that's being taught in this book really is speaking to me right now. And that's this idea that we all, and Thich Nhat Hanh, also the father of mindfulness. I'm studying a lot of his stuff as well. And what all of these people are talking about is, yes, come to the present. Yes, wake up. But the way to do that is through realizing the present moment is safe because you have nothing to prove, because you are good, because you exist. God created the world. God created humans and everything. And at the end of his creation, he said, I'm going to misquote the Bible here. I don't remember. Something like, it is good. Like, he looked at it and he said, it's good. It didn't need to be added to. He didn't send, and those of you who've listened to my podcast know I've been on a whole leave religion, spiritual crisis journey. I have a lot to catch you up on over the last couple of years because my journey has continued and it has brought me to some weird places, but that'll be in other episodes. So sorry if this is whiplash that I'm talking about God and Jesus in the Bible right now. It's where I'm at. It's where I'm at. But anyways, and I don't believe in like a physical person, God in the sky, just FYI. But we'll get to that in future podcast episodes. Anyways, God created everything, said it's good, it's complete, it's finished. We as humans don't have anything to add to that. We don't have to prove ourselves. We're already good. We already exist. We're already innocent. And this book I'm reading, this Yeshua book, it's called The Way of Mastery, and it's about waking up. And he talks about realizing our own innocence, our own goodness. That's how we become like little children. Sorry, my human brain is trying to expand enough to understand us enough to try and explain this, what I'm learning. That we're innocent, we're good, we don't have anything to prove. And that means that it's safe to be present, and that whatever exists outside of us, whatever we do, even if we're doing things that aren't good, that doesn't take away from the fact that we are good because we exist. I keep telling people, I don't know why this is the image that I'm loving right now, but I keep thinking about sea cucumbers, which if you don't know what a sea cucumber is, go look it up. It pretty much just looks like a piece of poop that sits on the bottom of the ocean floor. It's like a little ocean slug. And that's always what I think of when I see sea cucumbers, is it just looks like a piece of poop there. And I thought, and I've been thinking, if that is like that sea cucumber, and I'm sure it's more intricate and does more things than look like a piece of poop on the bottom of the floor, but just stick with me. If that sea cucumber is fulfilling the measure of its creation and its existence by just looking like a piece of poop and doing whatever sea cucumbers do, why do I think, and that's good. It's good enough. No one is picketing sea cucumbers and telling them that they should be more beautiful or, I don't know, look more like a starfish or build rocket ships that can go into outer space. No one's expecting that of the sea cucumber. It's a sea cucumber. It is the way it is. Have you guys seen Nature Walk? I know it's an aspen tree because of the way that it is. It's a sea cucumber because of the way that it is. I'm a kimber or a human because of the way that I am. And as much as I know what maybe could be possible for humans, it's also okay to accept that I am the way that I am. And I'm good. I'm not perfect. I don't know everything. I cause harm. I hurt people. I eat meat, which sometimes I really hate that I do that. I use plastic. I'm doing things that aren't great for the earth that I hope one day maybe I won't be doing. But even though I am doing those things, even if I'm not living up to my ideals and my values, I'm still good. I have a good heart. There's a story my mom tells me of when I don't know how old I was. I was really little, maybe 2 or 3. And she came into my bedroom because she heard, I don't know, banging around or something. And she came into my bedroom and I looked up at her scared. And she said I had some rags, I think, and I was cleaning up my own vomit at like 2 or 3. And before my mom could say anything, I said to her, Mom, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. This pink stuff started coming out of my mouth. I'll clean it up. And I felt so horrible that I had made this mess. And I thought that meant I didn't want my mom to think I was bad, and I was trying to fix it. And it's a sad story, but I think it illustrates humanness really, really well. That most of us don't go around thinking like, how can I cause harm today? I'm going to go kill something, or I'm going to go litter, or I just want to make the world a worse place. I don't think any of us, no matter how much we disagree with someone, I don't think, unless someone is very, 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 very hurt and wounded, I don't think most of us wake up wanting to cause harm in the world. I think most of us wake up wanting to make the world a better place and falling short. in a lot of ways, not in all ways, but in a lot of ways. And I think that's what it is to be human. I think that's just what it is to be human. We've got these gigantic brains with these big dreams. And we have good hearts, which is why it hurts so bad that we're not perfect. And can we love ourselves anyway? And can we believe in our own good hearts, even when we're hurting people, not intentionally, right? Anyways, that was a really long tangent. I told myself I was going to go for only 10 minutes, and here we are. And I enjoyed that. If you listen to this, thank you. I'm going to show up. I'm going to start showing up. And if I miss a day, I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm going to remind myself I'm human, and I'm going to try and come back. And if I miss a month, same thing. I was listening to Pema Chodron today, and she was talking about meditation and how surprisingly difficult it is to not get distracted, and that she thought after she practiced for a while, she'd be really good at it, and she'd be able to just focus and be thought-free and be able to do that for a long period of time. And in the thing I was listening to today, she said, it's been 30 years and I'm still horrible at it. But she keeps trying and she keeps intending to be better. And that's what I'm going to offer myself. I'm going to offer myself that grace. I'm going to allow myself to intend to come back to my podcast. And I'm going to allow myself to forgive myself if I'm human and I miss. I think it's been since September since my last podcast episode. And I think September was the only one I did last year. And I'm going to let that be okay. I'm going to let that be okay. And I'm going to intend to keep coming back. Yeah, I'm going to intend to keep coming back. And maybe I'll get better. And maybe I won't. And I'm going to let the coming back be my way of loving myself anyway. Even in my inconsistency and imperfection. This is an act of self-love for me, this podcast. If it helps you feel loved or helps you love yourself too, then that's an awesome bonus. I love you. And I really believe that you are good no matter what you have done. I believe who you are is good. And you are enough in this moment. Just for being here. That's enough. Yeah. Okay, this is weird not having an intro or an outro, but I'm gonna let it be weird. Have a good day, and bye.